Hey guys, what's up? What's good? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Dammy Days back again with another video. This time I have a special guest with me, my husband. Everybody say yeah. Do you want to introduce yourself? No.
Hello guys, it's your guy here again, Eki. I'm here to support my wife.
Hallelujah.
Let's have fun.
Amazing. So today is an exciting video because we are reflecting back on wedding planning time. I don't know how much at this point. I've not really posted much on YouTube, but hopefully I can roll out content as life allows. But we just got married a few weeks ago. By the grace of God, it was a beautiful day. But we thought it would be good to reflect on we thought it would be good to reflect on the process of getting to the wedding day and just wedding planning in general. So what we're going to do is we're going to share 5 things I want to say we wish we knew, but to be honest, I think we knew these things, but it's just that maybe it just...
You know the extent to which...
Yeah, it was just amplified. Like you were like, oh yeah, like definitely, you know. So how we're going to do is we don't know what we wrote. So he's got his own list, I've got my own list, and then we're going to talk about it and see if they align, if we wrote down the same things. And hopefully, more importantly, the purpose is to hopefully help someone out there that is planning a wedding, thinking when it's your time or if you're in the middle of it, to just know that these things may occur. Okay, baby. Do you want to go first, my love?
I should go first.
Yes. Should I go first or do you want to go first? I think you should go first. I'm curious. Okay. Number 1.
Your parents and your friends will have opinions and expectations.
I agree. Yeah. And I think it's important to be able to, what's the word? You need to be able to control the noise.
Yep.
If I was to put it, it's not like they are noise, but you get the gist. Like it's your wedding day at the end of the day.
In as much as they will give you advice, opinions.
Great advice.
Great one,
by the way.
To be honest. Probably what they're trying to tell you might not necessarily work at the time you're having your wedding.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's coming from an African home where there's certain expectations as to traditional marriage, introduction, you have to do this, you have to do that, probably travel back home for the ceremonies. I mean, your pocket might not be willing and able to fuel such.
Yeah, everyone is so excited that obviously everybody's envisioning a day for you, which is great. But like you have to remember
several days though.
Or they envision several days, exactly. Or you might want one day, or even half a day, or one thing. Like for example, just having a white wedding, and there's some things that might be an option. There's some things that you can compromise on. There's some things that's just not an option at all. Like for us, we probably didn't care much about traditional wedding, but that was not
negotiable.
That was not a negotiable. So there are things that you cannot negotiate with your parents, and you just have to be able to get to a point where you know what their absolute non-negotiables are, and maybe give that to them. And any other thing that you can find room to wiggle in if it's truly not part of your vision, because there's no way we could have argued traditional wedding. You know,
it's also from my own standpoint, I also saw it as honor. You're okay, can we come to the table and say we're unable to travel because of these reasons? However, we'll still do it, and we will try as much as possible to meet certain criteria that are being mentioned, or certain requirements that are being given.
And I think thankfully our parents are very understanding. But I have seen situations where parents obviously are just carried away that it's their child's wedding day and it has to be this. And
or even the outfits. You know, certain outfits as well that are being tailored towards the occasion. Coming from a good place again.
And this is just parents we're even talking about. When it comes to friends or like aunties, they also have really wonderful ideas. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to just go back to the both of you and see what you guys envision your day to be, what your budget is, and not get distracted, because it's very easy. It's very easy to get carried away. Okay, that leads me to my very wonderful first point, which Kyoke probably has on his list. But your budget will probably, most likely, most definitely not to be your budget. Hallelujah. This guy came in with a budget, and you know what? We thank God for the patience I have, because I didn't even bother to argue, because I was like, you know what? You will find out in the process that your budget can't hold water. It cannot, you know. But yeah, generally, I think you can. I think it's possible when you set a realistic goal, or a budget, should I say. So for example, for us, we were having obviously a traditional wedding. We were having a white wedding of over 100 people. A
traditional wedding, first of all, that we did not even know was going to happen.
Be in that elaborate
few months to the wedding preparation as well.
Yeah. So. But even on just like the wedding day, you have to be realistic. Like it's not that the budget that we set in the beginning could not work, but for the number of people that you were thinking to invite, I guess the number of amenities, you want to call that you want to have, you have to, maybe before you set your budget, obviously you have a budget in mind that both of you think. I think it's important to do like a dummy research to know what the market price actually is, because you don't want to get a huge shock. Like, things are expensive when it comes to weddings. Things just skyrocket. And me, that I'm saying that I was laughing at his budget, I was shocked at the price of certain things. I'm like, why are flowers so expensive, or why is a wedding dress so damn expensive, you know? So I think it's important to be able to know what the average market price is, and then understand if you're able to get things cheaper. So we did a lot of things in Nigeria so that we can get things cheaper as well, or just DIY things, but know what you can
afford.
Yeah, and know what the market price is saying. If you can only afford, not numbers, they don't matter here, but let's say if you can only afford 1K, and you know a standard wedding for 120 people is 5K, which is definitely not, but 5K, realistically, you then pushing ahead for that with a 1K budget is just setting yourself up. So just know that maybe we can do a court wedding just now. Do you get what I mean? So, like, being realistic with your budget, I think, is important, but at the same time, not going overboard. I'll come back to another point with that.
I'll also add, just sew your coat according to your cloth.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a day. You don't want to go ahead taking out loans and borrowing and all of those things. Only for you to now start the institution in itself. The wedding is just one day. The marriage is for life. You can't carry that sort of financial pressure, starting your journey on that sort of financial pressure. So it's best, if you cannot afford certain things, you let it go. No one is going to put a gun on your head. As a matter of fact, if you ask people now, what and what did you eat, or what and what did you see on the day, they cannot even remember. So this is not a case of you trying to impress anyone. Do what's best for you.
It feels like it beforehand, but after you realize that life is more important. More important. But I do, in one of my points, which I'm going to go to my second point, is, though I know you said it's only a day, and we always said that, but now looking back, though it's only a day, it's also not only a day, in terms of, how do I put it? It's a day that keeps reliving itself in your mind. It's a day that is a time investment, because you have to relive it every anniversary. So it's important that in every decision that you're making about the day, that both of you are happy with it. And it goes back to every little thing, whether that's money, finance, or the way you want certain things to be. Both of you are going to have to remember that day every year. So really, if everybody else forgets, you will remember it. So in as much as it's one day, and I know a lot of people say that, we can look back and say that we were happy with our wedding. We're satisfied. We are not going to look back and say, if someone talks about your wedding, you're like, actually don't talk about it. Or like, you spend the day crying, or you spent the day frustrated. So in every little decision, even on the day and before, just remember that though it's a day that is stamped in your lives forever. So in as much as it's just a day, don't do things too shabbishly where you would look back in regret, or you might not be proud of the moment, because it's an important moment. It's a time investing moment, I think. So it's one day when it comes to making, like, because I think we had to you probably didn't compromise a lot.
I didn't compromise.
No, I'm joking.
You didn't compromise? I compromised.
No, we had to compromise a lot, but not compromise to the point where you're like, actually, just let this just happen. I don't care anymore, you know, because you're going to have to, you remember that every time, you know. What's your number 2, baby?
Number 2, circumstances will test you. On and during the day. Things will test you.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is remembering that you guys are teammates.
Yeah.
You guys are partners. Because you might have situations where things are not falling exactly the way you want it to fall. And then that might also now start causing some sort of loggerheads between both parties. So it's always very important that no matter the circumstances that comes your way, you always remind yourselves that, hey, we are together.
I have the same point. But yes, it's so important that you're working. You have to remember that you are a team.
Yeah.
It's so important. What do you think our biggest loggerhead? I don't think, by the grace of God, I don't think we didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
Very
few.
Was
one, no.
Which one?
I mean, it wasn't chaotic, but it was the guest list.
It was a guest list.
The
guest list is the only thing. The other ones I think was between us and maybe other people. Yeah. But the only one between ourselves was the guest. I stormed out, bro. I said, I'm not doing this. At the end of the day, you have to, again, compromise to see where the other person is coming from and to see, also for them to see where you're coming from. Yeah. You have to be able to understand, again, what it's both of your days. It's not just one person's day. You know, that's where I think in wedding planning, how well you plan together kind of, again, sets those foundational blocks of certain things in marriage and how you deal with certain things. Because if you are against each other, it was just my way. If I think about wedding planning or just wedding in general, I think the first word is compromise. I think you have to be able to compromise for the sake of that team goal and that team vision. Knowing that this person is hopefully not trying to hurt you or trying to just have their way, but we're trying to do what's best for everybody and the family. Yeah, exactly. So that, like you said in the beginning, so that we're all starting out on the best foot forward, because wedding is the beginning of forever, but sometimes it feels like it's the ending, because obviously it's the end of huge planning, but really it's just day 1 or day 0 of the beginning of everything. So if you start that with if you start day 0 or the leading to day 0 with a lot of chaos, then you are really having a lot of work to do at the start of marriage.
And it will even show on the day as well.
It will show on the day. It will. Is that your number 2?
That's my number 2.
That I also had that, so you can go next.
Okay. You would actually not find out about who is coming to your date. Someday or the day.
On the day, bro. On the day. So even when so imagine if the guest list argument that we had, thankfully, was pretty brief, but I can imagine it have extended. But looking back now, it really could have fixed itself, because many people, especially when people are having to travel in, bro, so people would tell you they're coming. And like, there are people on the day, I was looking around, I'm like, I'm sure this person is not here, bro. I'm sure this person is not here. You know, like, they would tell you they're coming, and you would obviously try and hold that space. Please, if you're coming to a wedding, if you know you're not going to show up, just say that you're not going to show up.
Your name and all of those things.
It matters, exactly.
The whole process of the wedding preparation.
It's either it helps the couple to reduce their number, or it helps another person that loves them and they want to be there to be present. But if you're not going to say, and the thing that annoyed me is that people knew that they were not trying to even make the effort, but you still, I guess, reserved your spot on the guest list. It's just a waste of time.
Start chasing them.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to beg you to come, but please just give people a heads up.
Yeah.
So if there's, as you said, if there needs to be a reduction to the number, then that would help.
Yeah.
Or better still, someone else that is also there that can also be added onto the list. That also will help everyone.
Yeah. So I think completing your RSVP in time helps, which we did, but there will still be those stragglers of people that would be like, I need to, and the people that would confirm. Like, obviously there are things that might obviously stop people from coming last minute, which is fair, but some people, they will just be like, guy, they would just come with some excuse. I'm like,
story.
I'm like, surely you knew that, you know? So at the end of the day, I think your numbers, people will count. I mean, mostly, like I said, if people are traveling in, I think the people that were in country or in city, most people turned up. A couple of people maybe didn't, but it's easier. You have to understand that when people are traveling, just give that grace and make room that they might not show up for one reason or the other. So yeah. Okay. Another one. Every decision needs to be in writing.
That's true.
With your vendors.
That's very true.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Lord,
because on the day, obviously you might delegate through the process, you might delegate on the day, but also like in the middle of our planning, our wedding coordinator changed, and there were certain things that if I didn't put it in writing and we didn't have that in email, exactly, you could have just fallen through. Or with other vendors that you might be used to maybe speaking to just casually, in writing, please, because it's such a huge, I mean, if it's a huge day for us, it was like lots of people, lots of protocols and things happening. So it's important that everybody knew what they were doing. Everything was in writing, all the agreement. Like, check what your vendors are doing at every stage, because there are times where obviously you can tell them that they should do this, but check if they're actually doing that, because they can show up on the day as something different, or they might carry it out as something different, even as little as, thankfully, some of our vendors even checked with us the things that we didn't check with them, like this, maybe for example the style of flowers or the color, or even the shade, or when to hand out food, all of those little things, just trying to ensure that it's in writing, and even an additional point, ensure that it's delegated to someone else on the day as well, so people are not looking for you trying to say when is this happening or what is going on when. Like, try and take yourself out of the process as much as possible on the day, but what can help you do that seamlessly is if you have things in writing, so that another person can run with that and say, this is what the couple have, this is what you guys agreed on, and this is what should be carried out.
Writing is key. Also keep your receipts as well. Some vendors can be funny. They'll give you story, you haven't paid for this, you haven't paid for that. Am I the one to do your work for you? Payment has been made. Keep your receipts. If you're receiving receipts, if you're expecting you outsourced getting clothes from a different place or different location, be very, very particular about the funds that are being paid. Because anyone can
track everything as much as possible.
Tell you, we haven't made this payment. Oh, by the way, we made this payment some months ago. You're coming now and saying this.
So. Like, our hotel came like a month or so before the wedding with like practically the bill that should have been in December.
2 weeks too.
Oh, like 2 weeks before, with a quote that was probably finished in like January, December, and I was like, we've paid this, bro, but because it was a new person. And maybe there was a loss in communication, but we had a documentation of that. They were like, oh, apologies. So you could have easily paid that again, and maybe no one will notice till maybe the day of, or they might never notice. But it's easy for that to lose track. So when someone says, oh, you've not paid that, you know that you have we had a spreadsheet, which we took charge of. I didn't know what was going on, but yeah. Okay, another one.
Still on vendor matter.
Okay.
Give room for your vendors to deliver. If you're getting married on this day, ensure that all of the deliverables have been made even maybe a month or 6 weeks onto the day. Because giving them that room or access to deliver maybe a week too, you might be
highly
disappointed. Highly disappointed. So give room for
because even if we planned for a month before, and we still only got it
3 weeks too.
3 weeks, which is not bad, but we were meant to get it. For example, all of our stuff was meant to finish at the end of March or April, but it didn't finish till like towards the end of May. So that was like 2 months delay, but thankfully we're able to put things in place to still get it in time. But you have to really just give room for error, really. With everything, so that you can have time to fix it if there's any fixing needed in place. Yeah. Is that your last point? Fourth? Okay. I think my fifth one, I do have a note here saying that your relationship can suffer due to wedding planning. And in terms of, how do I put it? Like, if you're not careful, you might just talk about wedding planning all the time. Or just everything to do with the wedding. We planned our wedding ourselves, so maybe that was why. But we have to be very intentional about keeping wedding talk aside and still being able to communicate or just about life. You get about your normal relationship, because wedding planning can be long, depending. Ours was 8 months. For some, it can be a year or even 2 years. So if you're faced with wedding planning all the time, you can lose out on the reason why you're getting married, which is the relationship and your bond together and your connection together. So being able to, so there were some days that we're like, we're not talking about wedding today or like for a few days, just so that we can center back to actually how are you and how is life and how is work, not that this vendor has messaged me again, look at what this person has done again. So yeah,
I think that's it from my side.
Is that it on your side? I had one more. It's probably my 6th point, but just really generally, I guess you can use it to close it, but wedding planning can be enjoyed. I think it has a lot of stigma, which is fair, because it's a big day. It's a day that is highly anticipated. You want everything to go well, so in the process you can be quite stressed easily because there are many people involved. I think the thing about wedding planning is just because there's so many people that can be involved. There's so much communication. You have to deal with different types of people and characters. But I think if you set out to have a goal again, and not compromise on that, what both of you want, because I think it's when you start trying to fulfill another person's dream that it then becomes difficult. But if you have chosen a budget, if you know what you want your day to look like, and you know that you have the resources and stuff, just set out to that and set out that this would not be a stressful process, because your wedding day goes so quickly. I'm still trying to process what even happened on that day now, and that's like many weeks later. It goes so fast. So I think it's important that you can look back on your whole wedding planning season and still find joy in there. You don't want it to be like the whole wedding planning season was stressful and then it's only the day that you were able to enjoy it, because most likely you wouldn't if you have been stressed the whole time. So I think try and ensure that in every season and every time of wedding planning that you are enjoying the process, as this is leading me to marriage, and that you're carrying, you're just intentional about having joy, because things will go wrong, things will try and test you, but if you have made a decision that this is the journey to marriage, and I choose to have the best attitude towards it, then it's possible. Because I think it's quite popular to be stressed out, to cry and whatnot, which will happen, but just be intentional about enjoying it and making it a time that you can look back and be glad. Yeah, not that you wish it away. I mean, I don't think we'll go back to wedding planning. Would you do wedding planning again?
That phase is done. I would just add one more thing, and that would be just something positive, right? If you can delegate, if you have, by God's special grace, you have the right people around you, you can delegate. Folks might always willing to help, so you can talk to your friends, talk to people within your community to help you. Okay, sort this out, check this out. So that way, that also alleviates or reduces your stress level. So I think that's also very important, because ultimately you can't do it all by yourself. That's why you also have like the bridal train, right? Groomsmen, the bridesmaids that are always,
which ours were lit, by the way. I mean, like everybody,
energy was
top notch, A*, +1, +10.
Very
it was
supportive.
Yes, we were so blessed with people. And I think wedding planning or wedding season is a time where most people are more likely to help you than ever in your life. So if you can take the help, try and take it.
Take
it, but don't let them run with their own idea. I mean, you accept ideas, but you pick and choose. And ensure that they deliver on what you guys actually want and not their own agenda. All right, well done. But yeah, it was a beautiful time. We thank God. But we leave that behind and we forge ahead on to greater things. Hallelujah. But I actually did enjoy the event. I think maybe because I enjoy event planning, I look forward to planning not as what are you laughing?
Intense.
Not as intense, yeah. But like maybe I don't know.
She spearheaded the whole operation.
Not
we. She was a mastermind.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. I look forward to maybe I don't know. Wink, wink.
What wink are you?
5-10 year anniversary.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
I wish I recover all.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.
Before you go, they have to like,
sorry,
comment, subscribe, share, engage.
Engage.
My 2024, wishing you a beautiful year ahead.
Yes.
Forever and ever.
Which is many people, by the way.
Yeah.
But if you're part of the 2024 class, we wish you the very best. See you guys in my next video. Bye.